It worked. Yep. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming today. My name is Cammie Harris, and I'm the Executive Director of Reading Film Fest and co-founder of the new nonprofit organization. We are here today to share with you our status of the organization after the challenges experienced over the last year due to the pandemic. Thanks to volunteers, local businesses, and sponsors, we were able to sustain during a very trying year, and I'm very excited to celebrate our new beginning with you. Earlier this year, Reading Film Fest became a nonprofit organization establishing a board of directors and advisory council. Our board contributors, organizers, our board includes contributors, organizers, and community leaders with the mission to promote the region as a location destination for film and media production, enrich the community through events and programming, and cultivate a regional film industry. The Reading Film Fest is committed to lifting the voices of the underrepresented through content and services that reflect and meet the needs of our diverse community. The board of directors include Tracy Schott, board president, owner of Scott Productions; Chris Woodward, board treasurer. He is medical physician at Reading Hospital Center for Public Health. Carol Toomey, board secretary. She's retired instructor at Penn State Berks and director of Rainbow Theater. Lizette Epps is board diversity, equity, and inclusion officer, and she's director of impact and engagement with Visions Federal Credit Union. Heather Adams is a board member as well. She is executive director for BCTV. And lastly, but not least, we have Dr. Santo Marabella, who's a board member. He is past executive director and co-founder of Reading Film Fest. He is past film commissioner and founder of Greater Reading Film Office. He is currently professor of management at Moravian College and owns Marabella Enterprises. Our advisory council's purpose is to assist Reading Film Fest gain new insights, explore new opportunities, and give advice to solve problems. We look to the advisory council to help build bridges in our community and other community organizations, increase awareness and reach of the festival throughout the region, providing a pathway to longevity for the film festival. And this is our council. I won't read all the names, but that's who's included. Next, I will go through who will be speaking and the flow for the rest of the event. First up will be Tracy Schott, board president, followed by Senator Schwank, who has been a tremendous advocate for the festival and film production as an economic driver for the community. For the second year in a row, her office has been instrumental in Reading Film Fest receiving marketing and tourism grant funding. We also have Lizette Epps, our board member, who is Director of Impact Engagement, speak about a grant or a sponsorship that she's allotted the Film Fest through Visions Federal Credit Union. Finally, we have two of our community partners here with us today that we are very excited to join forces with this year. We hope they will say a few words as well. Levi Landis, Executive Director for the Goggle Works, and Dr. Rodney Ridley, who is Vice President, Dean of Colleges of STEM and Chief Operating Officer for Alvernia OPEC Institute for Economic Development and Entrepreneurship. Now I will introduce our board president, Tracy Schott. Tracy owns her own successful production company, Scott Productions, where she has produced and directed hundreds of projects. She's an award-winning filmmaker who's currently working on a new feature dramedy film, Le Bon Chef. Tracy has been the driving force in bringing the film festival to the region. Her experience and dedication to growing a film community over the past 6 years is the core reason Reading, PA has a festival that has grown to be internationally recognized by filmmakers as the Filmmakers Film Fest.
Thanks, Cammie, and thank you to the Goggle Works for hosting today's press conference. So we're really excited that Reading Film Fest is moving to this next chapter. The festival was the brainchild of Santo Marabella, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. He spent 11 years as a volunteer film commissioner, of Reading Film. And in 2015, we had this idea that a film festival created by filmmakers would be more exciting for everyone. So from the start, we treated Reading Film Fest like a film production. And being scrappy independent filmmakers that we are, we learned how to make a little go a long way. So the first couple of years, it was Santo Sue Lang, who's also a filmmaker, and I and a slew of volunteers worked to create a really fun event. Since then, through changes in program leadership and partners, Reading Film Fest has remained committed to being the filmmakers' film festival. And the community has responded every year, except for last year. We had growing attendance, and we found out that the filmmakers really loved our festival. We have filmmakers who come back every year and tell us, you know, they're working on their next film, and they hope they can see us again next year. So we really appreciate their loyalty. And as Cammie said, we actually were voted as one of the top 100 festivals by Film Freeway, which is a award given by filmmakers. There are 3,000 film festivals worldwide, give or take, and you know, being in the top 100 is pretty good. In 2020, you know, when most of the world's film festivals were either canceled or went completely online, we pivoted a million times in a 6-month period, but decided to do a hybrid festival. And that included live events at First Energy Stadium. And as far as we know, we were the only film festival in the country that was having a film festival in a baseball stadium. And it went pretty well. Had a little bit of rain, but it was okay. We had over 20 filmmakers who made the trip to Reading in the middle of a pandemic, and dozens of others who came on board as via Zoom to talk to audiences, and they were really grateful to be able to connect with their audiences. One of the smartest moves we've made over the years was to hire Cammie Harris in 2018. She came on at that time as our Director of Operations. And her business acumen and understanding of project management was a tremendous asset and has really helped us move toward a more sustainable business model. And this next step as a nonprofit would never have happened without Cammie driving it. So I'm so appreciative of you. Thank you. And it also would never have been possible without the help of Senator Judy Schwenk. Senator Schwenk has been a supporter from year one of the festival. I think I still have that, I know I still have that proclamation that you gave us in year one. She says she keeps it in her car. And the grants that Senator Schwenk's office procured for us have really made it possible for Reading Film Fest not only to survive the pandemic, but to thrive. And really to get us to this next place where we can have a journey towards sustainability. So I really thank you, Senator Schwenk. The floor is yours.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Tracy reminding me of the festival last year, and I said to her, was I dreaming, or did a deluge come right before we were going to see the last film, Dust Nuggets, right? And that was the one that I really wanted to see at that point, but we had to flee because there was thunder and lightning. But nevertheless, I am really, really delighted to be here. It's 15 months ago that we came together here to announce a $25,000 state grant to support the 2020 Reading Film Fest. That money was intended to support the annual film event that has put Reading and Berks County on the world map for filmmakers and film watchers. The 2020 event was going to be the best festival yet since its founding in 2015. Then, of course, COVID happened, right? But they say that necessity is the mother of invention, but I would say that creativity is the mother of invention. And of course, it took the creativity of Cammie, Tracy, and the board, and FilmFest volunteers to create that alternative film fest, as Tracy just said, probably the only one maybe that happened, but in addition, the only one that ever happened in a baseball stadium. So that's pretty cool and very, very unique. But the success of that event in a pandemic year underscores the ability of the arts to bring people together and the importance of the Reading Film Fest to our community. With the growth of arts in our neighborhoods, the Goggle Works right here in downtown Reading, the popularity of events like Jazz Fest, and of course, Film Fest, we know that arts and entertainment contribute enormously to the vibrancy and vitality of our community. And as Tracy said, and I will always say this, it's an economic driver for sure. We just have to keep building that momentum. The fact that Reading Film Fest even occurred in 2020, while other similar events across the Commonwealth and the country were postponed or canceled altogether, is a tribute to the hard work and dedication of organizers, but more importantly, it shows the world that the arts, and specifically film, energize us here in Reading and Berks County. It matters in this community. This annual event showcases to the world the diversity of our community, the beauty of our city, small towns, and nature, the creative nature, the talent of our people, and that we are committed to enhancing our artistic culture through the art of film and media. While energy, enthusiasm, creativity, and a little help from the state carried us through last year, the economic reality is that money is needed to continue the momentum we generated in 2020. And that's why I'm so pleased to have successfully worked with the Reading Film Fest leadership to secure an additional $35,000 in state grant funding to help give, thank you, to help give Reading Film Fest an additional financial boost for Reading Film Fest 2021 and beyond. These state funds will help support the work of the RFF and sustain the festival for years to come. And I know that the return on investment will be there for many, many years to come. And normally, as a politician, this would be the time that I get out the big plastic check. But I don't do that because, one, it's really our money, right? But it's directing funds that are discretionary to the things that matter in our community. It's not necessarily just me that wanted to see this happen. It truly is the Commonwealth and Department of Community and Economic Development that gets it, that this is the kind of event that matters, or just the entire film festival and the commission, the kinds of things we need in this community. So good work, everyone. Next year, we'll continue. We'll do our best, and I'm looking forward to see what you two cook up next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
One sec. I'm right here. So we're very fortunate as a film festival to have the support of dozens of community organizations and businesses who support this festival. It's been critical to our existence. And one of those sponsors joined us last year, and that was Visions Federal Credit Union. Lizette Epps, our new board member, was instrumental in once again securing a grant for us from Visions this year. I want to say hello to Lizette.
Good afternoon, everyone. So Visions is proud to sponsor the Reading Film Fest and very happy to support bringing the arts to Berks and beyond. And additionally to sponsoring, I am also very happy and excited to be a part of Reading Film Fest as its DEI officer. For us, it's important to ensure that any events or activities that we create in this community are representative of everyone in the community, young and old, of different ethnicities, racial backgrounds, orientations. So it is something that I'm very excited to be a part of, and I'm just looking forward to the growth that we're going to have over 2021 and beyond. Thank you.
I am really thrilled to introduce Dr. Rodney Ridley. So I'm going to say it again. He is Vice President and Dean of the College of STEAM for Alvernia University and Chief Operating Officer of the Opaque Institute for Economic Development and Entrepreneurship. I'm not sure I'd want to have to put all of that in my... That's a lot to carry. Alvernia has been really committed to partnering with Reading Film Fest and to provide learning opportunities for students. And Dr. Ridley has generously offered to guide the new Reading Film Fest board through a strategic planning process and help us grow a film community in Berks County. Thanks, Rodney.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And I apologize for the long title. It comes with. I do wear many hats, and I get to do, with such a long title, you get to do a lot of interesting and exciting things. And I don't think there's anything more exciting for me than having the opportunity to work with this dynamic duo, as Senator Swank put it. I've been meeting with them for a couple of weeks now. And they have such an exciting vision for where the Film Fest can go. The Film Fest itself is a wonderful thing, but they want to go beyond that. They want to really affect the region. And as you all know, Alvernia has a goal of also being a catalyst and affecting the region, and we're trying to do that. And there's no better way to do it than through partnerships like this. Part of my new role as the Dean of the College of STEAM is to really infuse some new enthusiasm into the A, right? There's an A in STEAM, and we need to really grow that. And there's no better place to do it than here in Berks County, specifically down here in the Reading region. I was telling Levi, as we were talking, Levi Landis, who's executive director here, is that if you just, and I'm a new resident sort of around here, and if you kind of just drive around the region, how much culture and variety of culture and art and all kinds of things that are here that you would literally have to get on a plane and fly days for to get to those regions. They're all sort of right here in a little ways drive. You can see all of that. And it's our job to get that sort of vibrant mix of the culture and all of that activity and dance and everything else and food and all the things that are there out and accessible to the public. So that's my commitment, and through organizations like this and working with partners like Luzette and Visions, because they're part of our partnership too. It's my goal to do what Tracy, I didn't forget what you told me, Tracy. I asked her, what does the Film Fest mean to you? What does film mean? And she said to me, it's storytelling, which I thought was fascinating. It's storytelling, right? And so can't wait to tell the story of downtown Reading with you, and that's what we're committed to.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a story because we're waiting on Levi. So actually, the story of Reading Film is started with the Reading Film Office and became the Film Fest. Was almost like the tail wagging the dog, right? And the festival has been successful, and it's easy to sustain your attention for an event that lasts 4 days. What's harder is to sustain your attention for a long-term project that brings sustainability and economic development to a community. And that's what the Reading Film Office is meant to do. And as a board, we are committed to really reviving the Reading Film Office so that we can build a film community. Film, we know from national and international studies, film communities really do bring economic development to communities. They help to infuse communities with buyers, and they're buying things like hotel rooms and caterers and men, people. They are looking for actors, they're looking for crew, and they're looking for storytellers. And we have a lot of people in this community who are capable of contributing to a film production. And so it is really our goal to make this story happen for Reading. And, but it's not something that can be done just through goodwill or volunteers. It really does require government support. It requires community leadership. It requires money, somebody's got to pay for this stuff. Some of the things that go into building a film office it's a lot of time for people like Cammie and I to organize resources, identify all of the resources that film commissions provide to film production communities, create a website that's dynamic, that allows people who are looking out there to find Reading and go, oh, wow, they've got a pagoda, they've got a river, they've got really beautiful architecture, there's an old railroad there, there's a lot happening here. From an architectural and environmental standpoint. And so we want to be able to capitalize on that and let the world know about it so that they can come here. So it's an effort that we started, I think 15 years ago now. And it's had fits and starts, but really it's going to take this really laser focus. And that's why we're so excited to be engaged with Alvernia and the Opaque Leadership Institute to help us keep that focus. We're also happy to announce that we did receive a grant for strategic planning from the Berks County Community Foundation, which will help us really do that planning in an effective way. And here comes the man of the hour. Now you were just you were just taking after me from last year, right? So I'm going to introduce you formally. So, from year one, the Reading Film Fest has depended on the support and generosity of our presenting partners, who have been Reading Movies, 11 and IMAX Theater, and of course the Goggle Works. As a film festival, we're committed to providing a quality viewing experience to our audiences, and these guys really never fail us. They truly deliver. So our relationship with the Goggle Works as a partner continues to grow. We have a new home here on the 5th floor, and we've expanded our events here in 2021 to include the gala, our award ceremony, as well as an outdoor film screening experience. So we're very grateful for the leadership that Levi Landis has brought to the community. You're up.
Now, if only I could keep the camera. Well, thank you so much. It's so great to be here and see my friends and my colleagues. I always like to let artists speak for me. They tend to be a little more articulate and have more beautiful words. So I'm reminded of filmmaker Alejandro Iñárritu, who said that film is often a mirror by which we see ourselves. And I think that's what I see here at Goggle Works every day. We work to transform lives through unique interactions with art. And I think if there's one thing we can think about during this time is, what is the story we have to tell? What is the story here in Reading? What is that mirror that we hold up, and what do we see when we hold it up? But I couldn't go without being reminded of the words of someone like Martin Scorsese, who says, film is about what's in and what's out of the frame, right? Who's involved, who's included, and who have we left out? Those are things we're thinking about this year. I know I've talked about it with you folks and with others here at Goggle Works and in the community. Dr. Rodney Ridley, these are things we think about. Who's left in the conversation, who's out of the conversation, what is the story we have to tell, and how do we include more people in that story? We need to do more here at Goggle Works to overcome our shortcomings, and I'm sure the Film Festival joins me in saying we're going to do our best to make sure that others are included in the conversation from a programmatic sense, from a hospitality sense, and an accommodation. So we welcome feedback to help us get better at including more in that picture from a diversity, equity, and inclusion standpoint. And then finally, I'm reminded of Alfred Hitchcock, who said that the best stories have the best villains. And while that's a troubling statement from a real life perspective, that means that we have some great stories to tell here in Reading, because we have some some villains. We have poverty and apathy and all kinds of things that have taken hold of our communities. But through people like Tracy and Cammie and you folks out there, we know that creativity, arts, making things, making films, making stories, doing the work that we do together is what's going to help us overcome those villains. And so I welcome that journey. I can't thank enough of the folks here, State Senator Judy Schwank, for all her support of the film festival and the work we do here at Goggle Works. Folks like Dr. Ridley here who are doing the work out here building up this city. And again, my colleagues here at Goggle Works and at the film festival, we're so pleased to have you this year. We know you're going to do great works. I'm always so impressed by the roster and the international voices that you hear being represented at the festival. And I think we're just very lucky to have you here. So welcome and thank you for having me. Sorry I'm late. Thanks, everyone.
As Levi said, we really are working hard to include other voices. We want to engage the entire Reading and Berks community in this event. And so it really is our goal to be more inclusive, offer diverse content that appeals to the whole community. And this year, I'm excited that we've got a couple of new initiatives, new partners. LunaFest, which is presented by the Reading branch of AAUW, American Association of University Women, got it right, it brings LunaFest to town each year, and this year they're partnering with Reading Film Fest. It'll be part of our festival. LunaFest is a short film festival that goes around the country highlighting the work of female filmmakers. So that's a big target audience for us and a big initiative that fits our mission, so we're really excited to have that partnership. We are also excited to partner with Cesar Gonzalez from the Gables at Sterling and the Gables at Overlook. He is generously supporting a short film screenplay contest for women and minority filmmakers. And thanks to the generosity of the Gables Foundation, Reading Film Fest will be offering a cash prize for the competition. And that's a first for us. So a big thank you to the Gables for that. Stay tuned. I think we're going to have more firsts coming your way this year, and we really appreciate your support. Hand it back to Cammie.
I think that wraps it up for today. If you want to stick by and take some pictures with us, that would be great. We'd love to have you. Also, just so you know, our Film Fest this year is September 30th to October 30th. And you can find out all the details and more information at www.readingfilmfest.com. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want me to turn the projector off for that, or did you want to change it back to the front?
Why don't you change it to the front one? That'd be probably, it's more dark, right?
Yeah, the front one.